The Wizards get the big dub tonight. 142-127 at home against the T-Wolves, led by the big three. But shoot, Porzingis career high, 41 points tonight. So let's talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's your boy, Brandon Scott, again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listens every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. So, big win tonight. Huge win. Much needed win. Big three showed out. So, the question is, how important is Kyle Kuzma to this team? And looking at Porzingis, is this his ceiling?
Man, Porzingis had a heck of a night, man. I think, this is his ceiling. Getting 40 and just dominating from start to finish. He went out there and hit 4 threes. A big part of that was Kuzma, man, just getting downhill in ball movement. Kuzma had 4 assists in the first quarter. Porzingis had 4 threes in the first quarter. It was just dominant from start to finish. And this was a big game. This was a big matchup going up against Gobert and Karl Towns. I hope Karl Towns is okay, but to get his career high of 41 points. All 3 levels, Porzingis was taking it to the basket. There was one play where he got like 3 offensive rebounds and he was just bodying guys down there. I love that from Porzingis. He was playing physical tonight. He was relentless. He was running the floor, finishing above the rim, hitting threes. Just dominant, man. And that's what I wanted to see from Porzingis. He had a couple down games. He got overmatched against Bam Adebayo, and tonight I thought he took it personal. He had that quote where he said, "We're not good enough to sleep on other teams," or something like that. And Wes Unseld Jr. said this was a big game tonight as well. And they came out with a sense of urgency. They pushed the pace. 142 points is no joke. And you got to see how, like you asked, Kyle Kuzma is super, super, super important to this team. They look like a different team tonight rather than last night. And you could just tell they were missing Kuzma. I know that's not an excuse for the way they got blown out against the Celtics, but he definitely provided a different juice to the team. Getting downhill, he was boarding. I thought we rebounded a little bit better tonight with him out there. He had eight rebounds, 9 assists, 23 points was a plus 28. Porzingis was a plus 13, 41 points. I do want to see Porzingis rebound a little bit more. 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 3. And Porzingis had a nasty block out there too. I can't remember whether it was on Anthony Edwards or on D'Angelo Russell. It might have been Gobert, but Porzingis playing both sides of the floor. I thought he was dominant tonight, 41 points. And then the last and one that he had in transition, and he got MVP chance as well. So this Porzingis is playing good ball, man. He's healthy now. He's the beard, fear the beard. We talked about this in the offseason. We talked about how ESPN ranked him 86th. We talked about that too. How that was disrespectful, and I think he's taking it personal this year. And I think he's really on a revenge tour right now. And this is the guy that we want to see consistently. And when they play like that together, I still don't call him a big 3. I call him a solid 3. But everybody chipped in and they played well. Bradley Beal had a solid game tonight too. Kuzma came in and stepped up, and Porzingis just was dominant. Man, that's if he plays like that, then yes, I think we definitely should make the playoffs. If he can play consistently, it doesn't have to be 41 points every night, but if he can play consistently like that and dominant like that, and he hit all his free throws, 11 for 11 from the free throw line. I want to see him get to the free throw line more and play with more physicality. I know that's not his game. He's more of a finesse player, but when he's getting downhill and can get to the free throw line like that, 6 for 10 from the 3-point line, 12 for 18 from the field, I just got to tip my cap to Porzingis, man. He played really well tonight. He was a baller. He was the unicorn tonight.
Absolutely. He was rolling tonight. Man, look, Porzingis was balling tonight. 41 points, career high. He played like an all-star. You know, he was impressive tonight. This is a very impressive win because Minnesota is not a slacker team. You know, they got a lot of talent on this team. They've been playing outside of Gobert, these guys have been playing together for 2-3 years. So, you know, they have that chemistry. So this is a really, really big win for us. Looking outside of Porzingis, Kuzma, again, great game. 23 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, very close to a triple-double. Bradley Beal, shout out to Bradley Beal. He played well tonight. You know, this solid 3, this team feeds off the solid 3. When they play well, we win. And I looked at a couple of comments already, and shout out to Perfect Findings, but his comment is point on. When he plays unselfish, we win. Easy. When it's a team basketball, when we're playing team basketball, when he steps into the role of scorer and not trying to facilitate too much, we win. So the big three. Shout out to the big three tonight. They played really, really well. But Denny, playing time was scarce, but when he played, they put him on Cat, and he frustrated Cat. I think what was it, like 3 points the first half. I mean, he practically shut Cat down, and then, Cat came out in the second half, and I guess his coach let him have it because he was playing harder in the second half. But he played well, because one of the questions we had going into this game with Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns in the bigger lineup was, should we play Gafford and KP? So when I saw they played Kuzma at the 4, but Denny was on Cat a lot in the first half, and he played well. He played really well. 6.6 rebounds, but again, his asset to the starting unit is his defense. And rounding out Morris, he came back to earth a little bit. He last game he played well. He kind of came back to earth a little bit, but he played decent. I'm not gonna get on Monte, but he played decent. He facilitated. He played good. So this starting lineup, man, it was really impressive tonight. I like what I saw. Minnesota, outside of Edwards, because Edwards did play well tonight. Edwards, he had a couple of dunks. He's going to the lane. You're not really going to shut down Anthony Edwards. It's just containing him. So overall, great showing. Looking at team stats real quick, 57% field goal percentage. Wow. 48% 3-point percentage. I'm gonna say it again. 48%. That's shooting at a high level. Free throws, 23 for 27. They played well. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is when they are, bro, I'm telling you, when they play team basketball, this is a good team. You know what I mean? It's just exciting seeing a big win like this, man. 142 points. I'm the same, man. 8 steals for the starting unit, too. So defensively, their hands were active. They had a lot of energy tonight. They came out swinging in that first quarter. They came out swinging. So before I hand the mic back over, the night's episode is brought to you by Turo. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, whenever you want it, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for any occasion or budget. Book an SUV or a minivan for a family road trip, a pickup truck for some errands, or even test drive an EV. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Forget boring rental cars and find your drive at Turo.com. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. So, obviously, I'm showing my excitement, so I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, the only down part I'll say about the game is the third quarter, beginning of the third quarter, the start of the second half, where the Wolves went on a 10-0 run. The Wizards, we were up by 27 at one point. And we just gotta improve on putting games away. It did give me bad flashbacks to the Clippers game. We were up by 28 at one point with the Clippers game from last year, the 35-point game that we gave away. We were up by 35. And we just seen us give up leads so many times. We weren't getting back on defense, poor shot selection. West finally called a timeout. I think it took him a little too long to call the timeout there, but that was the only negative about the game. But other than that, I thought everybody played with effort and played with heart. Denny was a tough guy tonight. He got hit in the eye by Anthony Edwards. He bounced back. On the next possession, he got a fast break dunk. Yeah, he was disruptive on defense. Didn't shoot the 3-ball well. And I know he got subbed out for Corey Kispert so they could get more spacing. So everybody could be a threat from the outside. But I thought Denny did his part, his role on the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, 48% from the three-point line. We hit 15 threes tonight, 57% from the field. We had, 70 points in the first half. We started out with 23-5. I mean, they came out with their hair on fire. They came out with a sense of urgency tonight. The Wolves, they lost a couple games in a row. So it was an early big game for both teams. And, we capitalized off turnovers. We had 18 points off turnovers. We had 29 points off turnovers tonight too. We only turned the ball over 7 times. We had 31 assists. So it just shows the ball movement. Like you said, when Bradley Beal comes in the game, he's moving the ball as well. I thought he's moved the ball pretty well so far this year. But when he's really moving the ball and he's coming off screens, off ball pin downs, and not bringing the ball up and not being a point guard, I think that's when we really, really flourish. And yes, Monte Morris has played better as of late. It's not big numbers or flashy numbers, but he's being productive. He did miss a layup on a fast break. I was upset about that, but we did get the ball back, and then Kuzma hit a three. So I mean, it's always great when you get to relax and put your bench in. Johnny Davis getting in the game, Gil getting a lot of minutes, and Todd getting in the game, Vernon Carey, Dotson. So we don't get to enjoy that much. So it's good that the guys got to get some rest, and they really put the nail in the coffin to finish this game off. They kept moving the ball, fast breaks, transition, knocking down shots. Just beautiful basketball tonight. It really was good. It was good ball movement. The ball didn't stick. Kuz was moving the ball. Porzingis moving the ball. Bill just unselfish hockey passes, the extra pass tonight. Kispert contributed tonight too, and Gafford had some big plays too. He had a big block on Edwards, tried to dunk on Gafford, and he stood his ground, and that ended up being a fast break dunk for Corey Kispert. So I thought everybody came in and contributed tonight.
Yeah, he tried to dunk on Gaff, and he said, "Not tonight, sir. Not tonight. Ain't happening tonight." Gaff, man, he played well. I like what I saw from Gaff. Now, he came in 16 minutes, so his minutes went up, and he responded. He played well with 16 minutes. So overall, if you look at the starting unit and the bench, they played well cohesively as a team. The ball movement, when they're moving the ball, this is a completely different team. This is a really good team. And Porzingis, shout out to Tommy, man. To be able to pull that trade off, sending Dinwiddie and Bertans to the Mavs for a guy who, quite frankly, is an all-star. That was a really under the radar move. Now, a lot of people were talking about it, obviously because of his injuries, people were kind of sleeping on the trade, but this shows that, when he's healthy, this dude can play some basketball. I mean, he's an all-star level talent. Bradley Beal played his role, did well tonight. Kuzma. So, are they a big three yet? I don't know. They're very solid three. I love what I see from Kuzma, especially from a leadership standpoint. Bradley Beal. I love the attitude. They're starting to get an attitude. They're starting to play with a chip on their shoulder. They responded. You lose 3 games in a row. They came in here. They're at home. They responded. So, no, overall, very beautiful win. 15-point win. It's just every area of the game they played well. So I definitely love what I saw from the team tonight.
Oh, 110%. I mean, I gotta give Tommy Shepard credit for that. That was a heck of a trade. That's a steal to give up Bertans and Dinwiddie and get Kristaps. Not only did you get Kristaps back, you got a second round pick as well. So that's the definition of a steal. That's the definition of a steal trade. So we got a heck of a player in Porzingis, a unicorn talent in Porzingis. But we're gonna get to comments here, and then we're gonna wrap it up tonight. But before we do get to comments, this episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. When I was looking for a job, I use LinkedIn all the time. It's super easy. There's one click. Jobs. It's easy to filter jobs. It's easy to search jobs on LinkedIn. So it's super, super easy to use. So if you're a manager and you're looking to hire people, it's probably the easiest app to use to hire candidates. This is how it works. You add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. All right, yeah, quickly, I guess we haven't done the defensive player of the game with the defensive belt. Who do you have getting the defensive belt tonight?
Good question. Can go to many people. But I'm going to say this. It goes to Denny. I'm going to say why. Because for him to play Karl Anthony Towns like that, that's hard to do. Especially Karl Anthony Towns he knows how to work around the paint. He really frustrated him. For him to have, I believe, I don't know if I'm accurate or not, but I believe to have 3 to 4 points in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
That's good defense on Denny's part. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the belt tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. It's tough too. I'm gonna go with Zingis, man. He has some big blocks. His defense against Gobert and also against Towns too. I thought he contributed to that. So I'm gonna go with Zingis, but Denny's a good option too, man. He did play well against Karl Towns, so I definitely gotta give him credit for that. So either one, I'm intrigued to see who gets it. I know nobody's gotten it in a while because we were on a 3-game skid and nobody deserved to get it at all. So I'm intrigued with that. But of course, the player of the game was Porzingis for sure, 110%. He was the player of the game. So we're gonna get to comments, I guess. Will Barton too. That's something that's an improvement area for this team. He's got to stop dribbling the air out of the ball. His shot selection has to get better, but that's just the nature. That's just how he plays ball. Just a lot of tough, ill-advised shots. He airball one shot. He kind of dribbles the air out of the ball, and the ball sticks with him. So I do want to see him move the ball. I'm still a big fan of Will Barton, but he's just got to improve with that. But we're gonna get to the comments real quick here. I still some people say that we need a new coach even after this game. Biggie Steve says it's Big Mac time. I think there's a deal with the Big Mac when the Wizards win. I'm not sure about the deal. I think it's like a free Big Mac or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a big So it's definitely time for the Big Mac and fries, baby.
Michael Corpus says good bounce back win. Ro Magic says you see the difference with Kuz in a lineup. Dude is a definite all-star this year.
Absolutely. I mean, this game showed how important he is. Completely different team. I would love to see every member of the Solid 3 get an all-star berth. Would it happen? No, but I mean, for sure, Porzingis should get a nod to the all-star team.
Right. Yeah, when he plays like that, he's playing at an all-star level. I mean, the potential to the sky is through the limit. If he can play like that every night, when he's healthy, he's mobile, moving around. You see how fluid he looks. He just looks healthy, man. Knock on wood. He looks really, really healthy. He's moving really, really well. Biggie Steve says the ball has to go through Kuz. The game plays differently, or the team plays different. I agree. I mean, look how they started out. They went through Kuz. Yeah. He had a couple of nice passes to Porzingis at the top of the key. Monte Morris had a nice pass to Porzingis at the top of the key, and you see how the offense just flows. We don't have a dominant point guard like the Wizards have had in the past, so it's just got to be. I think other guys got to step up and create shots for others, and I think Kuz does a really good job of that. He had 9 assists tonight, so he was flirting with a triple double.
Absolutely, the Solid 3 played well tonight. So when the offense goes through Kuz and Bradley Beal goes back to being a scorer, we win every time.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mr. Jeremy says a bad team beat another bad team. Yeah, the Wolves have a lot of talent. They did look really sloppy. They were turning the ball over a lot. You can see the deficiencies and the problems. They gave up a lot of picks for Rudy Gobert, and it's just not working out. It's still really, really early. We don't know how long Karl Towns is going to be out, so it's not looking too good for the Timberwolves. Freezy says Latvia can be very proud today with the fire emoji. Definitely thank you for watching from Latvia. Is there any other comments that stand out to you, Brendan?
Yes, sir. Let's see. Mr. Jeremy said, we have the talent. In my view, we need better coaching. I think it might be a little early. I mean, I know we've given West the business when it comes to criticism, but knowing the track record of coaches and GMs in Washington, he's gonna be around for a while. So I'd give him some time. But I mean, talent-wise, I completely agree. I think we have the talent to be a playoff team. Is just putting the pieces together and giving out the roles. So
yeah, I think the honeymoon was not over. There are some things I definitely didn't like last year. Some of the rotations and giving up big leads. The defense has improved. It's still been inconsistent, but of course, numbers-wise, the defense is better this year. We're like, top 15 in defensive rating. We were 25th in defensive efficiency. The offense is still pretty slow. The pace is still slow. We want to see them push the pace and get faster. Is Wes a guy that can discipline the guys and get guys to buy in? That's still a question mark too, where we saw guys bickering and going back and forth with each other last year. Is he a leader of men? Can he get the most out of guys? So there's still question marks with that. Timeouts. Still struggling with inbounds plays. We still see the deficiencies there. Like I said, the offense and the defense being bottom 10 in the league. But like I said, it's improved, and I still think he's learning. So we'll see. We'll come back and evaluate and kind of the rotation. Sometimes taking guys out when they get hot, or kind of sticking with his guys instead of some of the young guys when they're playing well. He's actually changed up. He's played Jordan Goodwin more. He's played Jordan Goodwin over Monte Morris. Will Barton, he's taking Will Barton out when Will Barton hasn't played well. So I give him some props for that, not just playing with guys that he's familiar with. But yeah, there's still definitely some improvement areas for Wes Unseld Jr. for sure.
Yeah, and don't forget, this is only his second year as a head coach. He's
even though Brandon, you did give him a hard time yesterday.
Yeah, to throw me out there, man. Yeah, I criticize him, man. But again, I'm gonna get on myself. Again, he's second year head coach, so he has a little bit of slack on the road. It's just he's never been a head coach till he came to the Washington Wizards. So going to next year is definitely gonna be evaluation time. But I think it's still a little, a little early. So
yeah, and the Thunder lost too. I was upset with him for keeping Monte Morris in the game. I thought we should have had some taller guys against SGA. So yeah, there are in the inbounds play against the Thunder. That was a game where you can really pinpoint to where Wes had some questionable moments for sure. But yeah, we'll see how he does this year. The Nets lost too. I was very upset with Wes too. When we lost by 42, I was very upset with Wes Unseld Jr. But like you said, we'll see how he does this whole season.
Shoot, that Nets game, I was mad at everybody. I was mad at the mascot.
Oh man, yeah, gee whiz! You saw he had a big hat just like Brian Robinson from the Commanders. Oh man.
Let's see. Perfect Findings said KP for franchise player. If circumstances change, you could see him as a franchise player. There's a lot of things going to happen for that to happen. But playing like this, and unfortunately, if there was a trade for Bill, and I'm not saying I want one, but things change quick in the NBA. So playing like this, he's playing like one right now. So I don't disagree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Phil Wilson says also trying to figure out what to do with Will Barton. Yeah, the trade deadline will be here. It's coming in February, so time moves fast, man. It really does. I do want to see what he can do, if he can improve and get more comfortable. But yeah, if they can move him for something, he's getting paid $13.5 million. I know we talked about Sadiq Bey a little bit yesterday. I know the salaries wouldn't match, but I don't know who would want Will Barton. Maybe a championship contending team, but it's a whole conversation to get into. I would see where we're at 10 games from now, but right now, Will Barton, yeah, he is looking very inconsistent right now. He's just not shooting the ball well. He had statistic wise, he had a better game tonight, but still watching him play, it's just a clunky fit. Corey Kispert had a perfect game tonight, 2 for 2, 4 for 4 from the field. And Jordan Goodwin had a good night tonight too, 10 points, 6 assists. So when DeLon Wright comes back, we'll see if Will Barton's minutes will go down, if he'll be out of the rotation, especially with Jordan Goodwin playing well too. So we'll see what happens with Will Barton when DeLon Wright comes back.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. All right, we'll probably read one more. Is anyone that stands out to you? See my guy pod named Kickback. He says we've been waiting for that big KP offensive output game. And we got it. We've gotten it from Kuz and Bill 50-40-90. Bill is having a good season. He is shooting. One time he was shooting 40% from the three. He's shooting really well from the free throw line. He's shooting 90%. 50. Yeah, you're right. He's having a 50-40-90 season. How do we put it all together every night? Who's the catalyst? What has to happen? What are your thoughts, Brandon? We'll probably wrap up with this one.
Well, that was a question I had before we got on here, was consistency.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I saw tonight is, how do we consistently put this type of performance together every night? Because if you look at it, we're struggling against teams that we should be blown out, and then we turn around, we're beating good teams this year. This is a good team. Minnesota, they came in 10-10. I think that a lot of that has to do with trying to assimilate and Gobert into their offense, because they're not used to running two bigs on the 4 and 5 at the same time. So I think that's a lot of the problems that Minnesota's having. But they're a good team. Look at the talent. So this is a good quality win that we should be proud of, because this is a good team. But easily you can also flip the coin on the other side and say that there's a lot of teams that, especially the Miami games with Jimmy Butler being out, that were winnable games. So we have to, not just KP and Kuz, but overall as a team, I think we need to be a lot more consistent. Beat the teams we need to beat and get these wins against the teams that are a lot better than us.
100%. Somebody else talked about Gafford too. They asked how he did. He played a lot better tonight, and he actually caught a lob. I haven't seen him do that tonight. But yeah, like you said, we built a solid team tonight in the Timberwolves. Yes, they haven't played up to expectations. Especially with that big trade that they made. They got blown out by the Warriors the other night. Last night, actually, they got blown out by the Warriors 137-114. So it was basically a similar game, and they lost to the Hornets. So now they're on a 3-game skid after losing to us. But they're still a good, like D'Angelo Russell is no slouch. He's a good player. He's been an all-star before in his league. Karl Towns has been an all-star. Gobert's been an all-star. Anthony Edwards will definitely be an all-star. They have the players and the talent, but they just got to put it all together. The chemistry is just not there with those. You can kind of see it. They're still trying to figure each other out. And it's two bigs that are just, sitting in the paint. So, Karl Towns is playing, he's on the 3-point line, but Gobert is, camping down in the paint. So they're still really trying to figure out their coach still trying to figure it out. Chris Finch as well. But yeah, this is a good win, man. The Timberwolves were healthy too. So it wasn't like anybody was out because, Jason Tatum sitting out. All the best players usually sit out against us, but this is a good win. And I think, fans should be happy about this one. They just got to carry it over. They play the Nets on, I think we play the Nets on Wednesday, but Brandon, is there anything else, or are you ready to wrap it up for tonight?
No, sir. I appreciate everybody showing out tonight. I know it's getting late. Appreciate everybody tuning in, showing some love. Now, hey, be proud of the team tonight. This was a good quality win. So let's bring this momentum going against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's got their issues. So hey, was kicking Wilder down. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, yes, sir. We just want to thank you guys for listening and making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now, for your second listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So I want to make sure you guys subscribe to Locked On Wizards on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. And please leave a 5-star review. It helps out a lot on iTunes or wherever you get a podcast. Dub, shout out to Porzingis with a career high. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.